I'm Dan.
I'm Michael.
And just a quick explanation of what the hell we're doing here. With every slide of our work, there's going to be an accompanying animated GIF from our own collection of animated GIFs. This is kind of a multifaceted, distractive device for you all. It actually does serve a lot of purposes. I mean, we do like to collect a lot of things. Designers love collecting. We all have some stupid collection of our own, whether we'll admit it or not. Animated GIFs is one of ours. But also, the media of an animated GIF is kind of conducive, at least for aesthetic apparatus, to graphic design. You only have a limited means to relay the information that you need to communicate, whether it be completely absurd or actually insightful or mysterious or what have you. But it's also kind of a mashup and a little bit of a hack. No one really wrote an animated GIF code, it just made itself up. But, and sometimes when you pair it with something that is not really meant to be paired with, you can advance the context of what that means. So we'll hopefully that makes sense. And I might wander by accident, so just yell at me if I do.
And if you,
go ahead.
They also serve the purpose of, if you're extremely bored with us, you can hopefully be entertained by them.
I'm distracted by it already.
This isn't one of the strong ones.
This is a boring one.
So around 1999, when it seemed like everybody wanted to, the internet was exploding and everybody wanted to be going virtual, Dan and I, not consciously, but kind of went the opposite direction and started doing some screen printed posters. We were working at a place called Planet Propaganda in Madison, Wisconsin. And one of the principals there had a band called Pelvis, as you see up here. And Dan had access to a screen printing studio, and Kevin just one day approached us and asked us if we'd start doing some posters to promote his band.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
That's the truth.
Totally. So far, all of this presentation is absolutely 100% fact. I don't have anything to add to that one. Yeah, so kind of ironically, our poster making, which was kind of a reaction, not necessarily a conscious reaction, but at least our excuse against internet technology, something we didn't really know how to do. When we started making posters and selling these posters, we actually couldn't have done it without the internet, and kind of that deinstitutionalization of how you make your money these days. So one thing that really helped Aesthetic Apparatus grow from the very beginning was the fact that we could sell these posters online. And that kind of built our savings. I think it was probably $2,000 to $3,000 saved up before we really decided to start the business up. And really along that, we got a lot of print promotion from annuals. At this time, we were still really closely tied to Planet Propaganda, so it was kind of used as a promotional tool for Aesthetic Apparatus and Planet Propaganda, and we got a lot of notoriety and a lot of design annuals. So the $2,000 paired with our name in print for the first time got us feeling cocky about what we could do as an actual business.
And it's just a little background. This is one of our earlier posters that we did. And early on in Madison, when we were doing this, we wanted to support the bands that were coming through Madison and didn't see a lot of that going on as far as screen printed posters. But we didn't, just because we thought we were doing everybody a favor by doing these posters, we'd just see a band come into town and say, oh, we'd just do a poster. We wouldn't ask the club. We wouldn't ask the promoter. We wouldn't ask the band. We would show up with these posters. And at the time, that was fairly acceptable because nobody was doing it, and we weren't, I think it was clear that we weren't making any money doing that, so.
So this is our business plan. This story is still 100% fact. No, honestly, we did reach that point where what we saw happening at Planet Propaganda was the necessity to bring in work that compromised the partners' creative control over what they wanted Planet Propaganda to be in order to keep the doors open, pay the bills for another month. And of course, that compromise trickles down to the designers. And so over a 2-year span of time when Michael and I had really started hanging out and going to a lot of shows and making a lot of these posters together, we also became very, segmented into a single job that we did for Planet Propaganda. A lot of the freedom of creativity was kind of thrown out as it was necessitated to do more and more corporate work that really wasn't very creatively satisfying for us. So one night we got some beers and some gin and tonics, and we wrote up this business plan, which is more robots and penises than actual any kind of financial planning. But I mean, you can see the forecasting. We've got our numbers through 2010, and our investments aren't really where they're supposed to be at yet, but we're getting there. Oh, more light. No, you can give us less light if you want.
It's not going to make the presentation any more enjoyable.
or make us any more attractive. So we're going to talk a little bit about the economy of posters and kind of just how this all works, because really, honestly, it doesn't. The economy of posters is kind of that's the first
it's a mess,
lie.
yeah. I mean,
it's the first myth of this presentation.
Right. Well, and we're, unlike most of our presentations, we're actually starting this with saying how we're starting to step back a little bit from the poster community.
Yeah, I mean, as you can tell from our business plan, there's certain critical decisions that we might not have made in terms of financial viability. And one of those was that we founded a business on something that we did for free. And no, I mean, honestly, we, you know, what Michael's saying is true. Like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, we had a serious meeting, and we decided, okay, we're not going to do posters for free anymore. We're going to get paid. So this is an example. I mean, a lot of the posters that we did do for free were for local venues. Triple Rock Social Club, First Avenue, 7th Street Entry, Turf Club, Big V's, all these great kind of Minneapolis-St. Paul mainstays. But the thing is that posters, as promotion, are the responsibility of the promoter and the club. So really, all these rock posters that we did were the responsibility of the club. But of course, when they turn into merchandise, they cross over into band territory, and that's where we're like, well, doing these for free is just not really financially viable for us. But also, we need to rethink how that works.
Right, and unlike the early posters where we just did them now, or previously, we would contact the management, the venue would contact us to have us do the posters, but then we would go that extra step to contact the bands and their management and let them know what's being done and make sure if they want approval of the poster that they can have it, and let them know that we will also be selling them and, you know, maybe making some money off them. But in most bands and managements were cool with that as long as they, you know, knew that we were going to be printing 10,000 of them and selling 10,000 of them.
Yeah,
so,
no.
Which has not happened.
One way that you actually do make money on posters beyond trying to hawk them online is having a band as a client, as a steady client. So the Hold Steady has been a fairly steady client of ours for, well, since its inception, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, when they were in a band before called Lifter Puller, they were the main two guys were, and we did a poster for them for their last show, and then just kind of grew from there. And yeah, we've done a number of posters for them. We haven't done any for a while, but it's a band where they started out small and they blew up, and even though we probably didn't get paid a lot to do the posters, once they kind of blew up, we knew it was a fairly safe investment that we'd be able to sell them on our website fairly well because they're huge in our town and they've now are huge throughout the states.
Spoon has been another kind of repeat client of ours in terms of rock posters. And it's the same situation. We've actually done work for Spoon a little bit longer than we have for Hold Steady just because they've been around for longer. But again, it's paid meager sums, but paid nonetheless.
Yes.
That's really all we're asking for at this point. But then, just as importantly, or actually more importantly, sometimes, oh, that's good, perfect, is doing posters for local or at least local size bands. So this is a local band, Child Bite from Michigan, and this is one of these things where the band really does need the promotion. And you know, the Spoon posters are great to do, but also you can kind of question like, okay, how many people are actually getting to the Spoon show because of the poster? In a situation like Child Bite, you actually do have a large opportunity to present a band in this poster aspect to people that might not really know who Child Bite is, and it's great to do posters for people that actually need promotion, and they're always very important to them. You know, it's nice to make something that someone really appreciates.